Good morning, everyone. Maddie, who do we got on the show today?
Jojo, all the way from Morgantown, West Virginia, the vice president of City Neon. We got Chris, the Axeman Atkins.
Brian, roll that intro, brother.
Roll that intro, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
Hello, friends. I'm Joe. This guy is
Matthew.
And you're on episode 8 of Rising Signs this Friday morning. Hello, everybody.
Good morning.
So how's the week treating you, Matty Cakes?
So far, not bad. I mean, let's be honest. Every time we always do this, you ask me and I try and give you the exact same response because I try and maintain a very positive lifestyle. So everything is going well with me. Zero complaints. How about you, brother?
Well, you know, when somebody asks you, how are you doing? I don't have the expectation of something negative. I have the expectation of something inspiring, right? Like I hope to hear something that's going to boost my day, which is what we hope to do for everybody watching today. So let's, that's what I'm looking for. Just so you know.
Okay. So how am I doing?
Yeah,
fantastic, Joe. I am absolutely fantastic. Everything is absolutely amazing. I woke up with a smile on my face. I'm breathing fresh air. I'm on episode number 8 of Rising Signs. I get to see your face on a Friday morning. Things are fantastic. How about you, brother?
I am phantasmic myself. Okay. I have not had a fever, right? So I'm pretty sure I don't have the COVID. I'm still got like some, but like I'm healthy. I'm strong. I feel good. I haven't had to take any naps or anything like that. I've been busy. So I'm feeling great. I'm excited as people are moving forward because I'm getting a little cooped up. You know, I'm ready to go out there, get in the action, make some things happen. So all good stuff, man. All right.
I like to hear that because I'm not going to lie. I was a little worried all week, but now that we heard that positive news, I mean, geez,
yeah, you were worried.
I was worried.
That's why you called me, right? So many times since we last talked.
Get out of here.
All right. So this is the part of the show where you, my friend Matty Cakes, give a monumental, extravagant, sometimes embellished introduction. Let's hear it, Maddie.
I know you know who this next guest is because you guys have a little bit of a friendship, but I'm going to do my best on this one. Did a little bit of research as usual, and I'm going to throw in a little bit of factual information there because I know you're a fact buff and you love this type of stuff. So
only a little bit of facts. A lot of bit of fluff.
You ready for this? Are you ready for this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Episode number 8. Our next guest is coming all the way from Morgantown, West Virginia. Now check this fact out. Morgantown, West Virginia. The New River Gorge Bridge near Fayetteville is the longest steel span bridge in the Western Hemisphere at 1,700 feet and one of the highest bridges in the United States. That one's for you, Joe. This next guest studied at West Virginia University. He is a member of the Mountain Man Axe Throwing Club. He is an avid fisherman and he loves his basketball. He also enjoys his good old country music. If you're lucky, you catch him on the PRT, which is a personal transit system in West Virginia. He is a 3rd-generation family member of a successful sign business. For episode number 8, I want to bring in our next guest from Sign Neon, City Neon, the vice president, Chris, the Axeman Atkins. My bad.
That was good. Thank you.
Welcome, Chris.
How's it going?
It's great. It's going well, man. It's good to see your face, man. I'm glad you've been able to make time for us.
Yeah, appreciate you guys having me on. And,
Love the t-shirt, by the way. Love the
thank you.
t-shirt.
Yeah, we're
Oh
up
yeah,
to
look at that, fresh.
Before we
knock 'em out
dive
areas.
in, Matt, how long is this bridge again?
Okay, was I wrong on this, Chris? Because I did a
No.
little research. So
You're
again,
good.
the New River Gorge Bridge near Fayetteville is the longest steel span bridge in the Western Hemisphere at 1,700 feet.
Yeah, it's definitely, I don't know the exact footage, but it is huge. They have the most awesome whitewater rafting trips under it and all around it. It's a blast. It's something definitely to do if you're ever near here.
Love it. Love it.
Matt, you got me excited about another little fact that I know. You're talking about how I love facts.
Love facts.
You might want to fact check me and like maybe blow me up a little bit next episode because this probably isn't going to be exactly precise. So I used to live in Virginia, right? Out in Chesapeake and Virginia Beach, and I lived in York County a little bit, and I lived in Richmond. So there's a bridge that goes from the eastern shore of Virginia Beach up into Maryland. It's called the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel. 12 miles, and it has 2 tunnels.
Yep.
And the coolest part about this bridge is, so like, when I've been traveling, like sometimes I'll have manufacturers reps with me, sometimes even distributors with me. But people that come out of town, especially people that have never been on this bridge, I love to freak them out. So we'll get in the very middle of the bridge and you can't see anything but water. There's no land in sight when you're in the middle of this bridge. And I'll ask them like, hey, you notice anything? And they're like, no, what are you talking about? They're all chill, right? And then you say, can you see any land? And then they're like, oh God. Oh no. And you get the right person and they totally freak out. They're like, oh, what do we do? It's like, well, we just keep driving on the one lane that we're on until we get to land again.
Pull over. You can't pull over any further.
No right turn.
Do you have a life raft on this car?
Unreal. Hey, Chris, let's jump into this. I know you're the vice president of City Neon. New title?
Sort of. I was operations manager before, but vice president came with the title of basically our family. I started taking some ownership of the company itself. So with ownership came the title.
Well, break it down then. Tell us your role. Tell us a little bit about the business. City Neon, what do you guys specialize in? Throw it to us.
Okay, yeah. So we were incorporated in '63 by my grandfather. He was actually open in the '50s. Started with a small neon shop, doing some stuff in his garage and basement, just like pretty much almost all sign companies start, seems like. Went on to buy a bucket truck. Ended up renting that bucket truck out for work. Continued doing signs, and ended up starting a crane company as well. City Crane, our sister company. My uncle runs that and owns that. And so basically bought a crane and rented it out for a month. So he needed another crane to do his work, so he bought another crane. That's kind of how it all started. So City Neon, I've been running it since for about 9 years now completely. Worked in the sign shop and the fabrication in the install field and the estimating, kind of everything, worked my way up till I was confident enough to run the company, and kind of just took off from there. We do a little bit of everything. We do neon still. Not a lot of people still do neon. We have an in-house neon bender. Probably only 2-3 new signs a year because it seems like everything we do now is LED, which is so much better in a lot of ways. But we basically do every type of sign imaginable, door vinyl to 100-foot high rises.
Great. So, Chris, give us a little bit of background on, obviously you grew up amid a few different family businesses.
Yeah.
Tell us how you got interjected into the sign business, where it started, and what caused you to gravitate towards it. Because I know that you guys have some commercial, I think, real estate business, and I think like some truck businesses as well. So you had options that were accessible to you to get involved with. Where did you start, and what caused you to gravitate towards the sign business?
Yeah, one main thing I like about sign business is it's never the same. I mean, you can do a month of work and not one sign will be the same. So that's kind of what gravitated me towards it. I like the the complexity of it, and I like difficulty. I like having the challenge and things. If someone says, well, I want to put this sign there, how do we make it happen? We'll figure it out. Even if we don't have an answer now, we'll find an answer. That's kind of what I enjoy about it. And I like, when I took over, we were a lot smaller. We only had about 7 people on staff between the trucks and the shop. And we've got up to about there a couple years ago, we were about 35 people.
Oh, wow.
And it was a lot doing that, full time. So we've downsized a little bit to about 25 people, much more manageable, less headaches. Many crews running around, and it's definitely helped out a lot.
Love that. And did you have any background? One thing that we always Joe and I always end up prying for information on a lot of sign professionals that are in the industry is the background that you came from. Did you have any schooling? Did you take any programs, stuff like that to lead the position you're in today?
My mom calls it the school of hard knocks. So when I was 16, we have a construction crew as well. We do a lot of our commercial buildings and build some houses here and there. She put me on the construction crew when I was 16. I was carrying lumber, doing drywall, spreading ground. I went to 2 different colleges for a year, and actually in my year, the manager was running the shop. They took over there when I was 21, and I'd worked in the shop for a year and worked on trucks for a year. And I took over. I didn't get to finish college, but really I didn't need it. Not that it's not needed for a lot of things, but what I was doing business management, and I think sometimes managing business is your schooling. You figure out a lot of stuff the hard way, and you learn from it.
Oh no, that's the truth, man. I think the best way to learn is to get involved and start doing it. I've always been one to diversify my abilities and not, have it be determined hey, I can't fix a car because, I didn't go to automotive tech school or whatever, right? You get on YouTube and you figure it out. And,
exactly.
When the YouTube videos this job takes 8 hours, that's when you're like, all right, I'll drive it down to the shop. Never mind. Maybe I won't do it. Right.
Yeah.
But
YouTube University.
But it's beautiful, the things you can learn and especially as you start applying yourself, there's a lot of core fundamental things with construction, plumbing, electrical, where you can build a really nice baseline. Just about all of those things coincide with signage in some way or another, which is really great too. It's a creative aspect because sometimes you're reinventing the wheel, and it's you've got a couple projects lined up that you sent us some photos of this week that I think is a perfect segue to talk about how you're reinventing the wheel. Let's go ahead and talk about the river project. You know what? I guess my first question for you would be, why did you say yes when they asked you to do this? Because it looks crazy. And Brian, while he answers that, would you mind pulling up the shared screen so we can scroll through these photos?
Yeah.
Oh, unreal. This is what it is? Unreal.
Let's zoom in here a little bit.
Chris, explain what we're looking at.
So basically the river, which you can kind of identify what it is from the big, long, squiggly line there. When somebody asks you to do a project, you can't say no. I mean,
no.
In the sign industry, you gotta do what you can. But this is a 168 linear feet river. Wow. It's actually the Mon River that runs through our county. This is done at the courthouse at the here Mon County Courthouse. And it's actually topographical. It's the exact same layout as the river goes. They put different cities on the glass itself and on the paving stones around it, and identified dams, locks, cities, county lines, Mason-Dixon line. You can see that straight line in that picture right there. At the top of the screen, right under the plaque, is the actual Mason-Dixon line, which separates Pennsylvania and West Virginia.
Yeah, I can see that.
And it's actually on an RGB controller with the rest of the lights that you can see, the cam lights on the ground, the lighting that is the street lighting, everything around it to light up RGB colors.
Unreal.
Yeah,
Unreal.
and it's all
What's that
tied
made
into
of?
the same
What's the river
system.
made of?
So the river itself is a glass. It's actually a glass company called Giacomo. I love the name Giacomo in that song. But it's they do walkable glass, custom shapes, because everything had to be made. There's I think 40 pieces to fit together because there's so many twists and turns. And they made all this glass for us. It's all also studded with texture on it, so it's slip resistant because people walk over this, ride bikes over it. It also had to be engineered to hold ambulance pickups because unfortunately we have a large homeless population and they like to sleep around these. So they pick up, they pull over that with an ambulance to pick up people all the time. And so the top of it's glass. It's actually caulked in with different adhesives to make it watertight. And then it's in a custom aluminum routed fabricated frame that kind of sits it off the ground because it also needs to have water not sit in it. So that's basically, you can see where there's paver and there's concrete. They actually poured the concrete around our frame, cut the pavers around our frame, and then set everything in there. We came back, put the LEDs in a track along the edge to edge light the whole thing from both sides, and then put our glass on and sealed it.
Big fan. Yes.
That's
cool. Hey, Joe?
It's really cool. So first swing at this project, was it watertight?
It was not. It was tough. The first swing actually at this project, they had an idea in mind. The architects and engineers had an idea in mind. We made that idea and it didn't work. We told them it didn't work. They didn't believe us, so we showed it to them. They actually wanted to use fiber optics in this.
Yeah, I remember that.
Edge light from the sides of fiber optics. The problem with fiber optics is fiber optics needs to go in a straight line. And you can see that river doesn't have any straight lines. So every time you make a turn or a bend, you lose light. So running 160 feet with a fiber optic, even from each end with a fiber optic projector, it just didn't work. You went like 30 feet and you lost all your light. So we showed them that, and they were like, well, can you fix it or figure something else out? And we did. We came up with LED solution, thanks to a couple different companies and help. I think Joe Lumpin actually helped out a little bit there.
Shameless plug.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, and it worked out great with RGB LEDs. And we actually had to tie we never done this before. We actually had to tie the LEDs into a huge system with the outside lights, timers, controllers, all this stuff that, we've wired up simple things like that with RGBs, but not to this complication. It's all computer ran and everything.
Wow. That's amazing. So that did it end up being like a low level DMX controllable system? Is that what it ended up being?
Yes, exactly.
So how many, this is a pretty specific question, but just because I'm curious, do you remember how many different addressable sections there were in that project?
I don't remember exactly. I might have been 4.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because we ended up having, the other problem was power supplies. How do we run, because those LEDs, we couldn't string LEDs out the actual distance is recommended for LED for spacing, because we had to put them closer together to get the lighting without dark spots. So we put the LEDs a lot closer together, which made a lot more LEDs needed. So we can't put a power supply in the middle of that river because it's only about, I want to say it's 3.5 inches deep, 4 inches deep, the whole thing. So there's no room to put a power supply. So we had to put power supplies on each end. So the whole thing is ran off of 4 power supplies.
Wow. That's pretty surprising. So you were brought in by like a design firm, and did you work with the design firm, or did you also work with the city on this project?
We work with the city and the architectural firm, which the architectural firm is actually a friend of mine that owns it. We do a lot of work with them, called the Mills Group. Really great architectural company here in town. Been doing a lot of restoration projects for downtown Morgantown, which has kind of been dying, but they've really been helping make it look nice. And they brought us in. They're like, asked for a bid on it, gave them price, and came back with a new price after we got through our testing, and went from there.
Well, it's a cool project, and my really motto is that a lot of people look at things and it's not in their wheelhouse and they say no, but the most the most headaches, but also the most profit come from projects like this.
Yeah.
Is, digging in and figuring it out. And as long as you don't, dig yourself into a hole, you can be really profitable by creating solutions that other people are scared to go after. And you shared some other photos that I want to jump into as well. But before we do that, as I got introduced to your company, you guys were up and coming, and you've got WVU there. You're working on this crazy project. Like you said, you had 35 employees at one point. You're like the only sign company in Morgantown, West Virginia. Like you're like the sign company of West Virginia. There's like no one else there, right?
Yeah.
Small
We go down to
population,
Charleston a lot, and we travel 2.5, 3 hours.
Why has it taken this long? And like you get involved, you start operating the business, and boom, it blows up. Like you guys are a huge outfit. I know that manufacturers of raw goods, distributors, all these people are knocking on your door. They want to work with you. They want to get involved. Like you guys are a really big outfit. Why has it taken so long for a sign company to rise up in West Virginia and start doing what you guys were doing?
Well, the main problem is actually West Virginia as a state is not growing. Nowhere in West Virginia will you find a population increase except in Morgantown. Morgantown is growing leaps and bounds. We have new interstate exits being put in. We have new plazas, new strip malls, everything being built. Our population's rising. We have WVU, which is a huge, Division I college, great football and basketball teams. We also have Mylan, which is a huge pharmaceutical company here in town. And both of these two things drive economics here because they provide huge, high-paying jobs, make retailers want to come in here, which in turn gives us, obviously, new companies mean new signs. So the biggest thing is actually getting to those people. And, we have we actually don't have a sales team at all. Everybody knows us by reputation. We maintain a really high reputation of honesty, of, getting the job done no matter what it takes. I always tell my guys, you're going to screw up. Things will happen that don't go, weren't supposed to go that way. Fix it. We got to make it better, no matter the cost. You take care of your customers and you take care of your people. And I think that's really gone a long way with, word of mouth advertising. These people take care of you. They'll help you find the best solution for your product, and so on and so forth.
I've never heard of that before. Like a zero sales team on your staff, people are still coming to you. Yeah. Wow. Yep. Wow. That speaks volumes of the business you're running, but right.
Yeah. We have the customers we've had. My grandfather's friends still come to me for signage. And they're 70s and they need another sign for their bar, their gas station, whatever it may be. And like, oh, I remember doing business with your grandpa. He sold me the sign, and I was 18 and just starting out the State Farm. And
that's cool.
That's
he's
the
like,
beauty
I still
of
have that sign in my attic.
The beauty of family businesses is you always get those repeat customers because they're loyal. I mean, we still have guys coming into our shop saying, "Oh, back in the day, you guys never used to charge me tax." When was that? You were paying Canadian savings bonds. Like, come on, but it's awesome. That's a rapport that a family business has, and the fact that you guys don't even have a sales team and people come to you is because of that. So that's awesome. Unreal.
Yeah.
Sorry, Joe, you were saying what?
I don't know. Let's jump into this next project. Brian, I got another couple photos pulled up on the screen here. So this is a pretty iconic and recognizable logo.
Love that.
I have to have worked on a dozen or more West Virginia projects with you guys.
Yeah.
This is one of many, but this is really cool. Can you give us a scope of size?
Yeah.
And how you guys went about building this particular, I guess it's a ceiling accent or a ceiling light. What do we call it?
It's a ceiling light, I would call it, with a logo recessed into it. So this picture is actually when this is from 3 or 4 years ago. I think 4 years ago when WVU beat Baylor, number 1 in the country at the time. I think we were number 12 when we beat them. We were on our way to being ranked second in the nation after we beat them in basketball. They actually took this picture right after the game found it on Facebook, saved it, and printed it out for the coach, sent it to him.
So cool.
As a cool memento for him. And this is just one of the I think there was like 800 different projects on this, or signage on this one project. This is one of the hardest though. So each one of those sections, you can see it's kind of split into sections there, is about 5 foot long. It was supposed to be a recessed light with a logo recessed into it, that's edge lit into the ceiling. It was a very hard project. One of the things that, you sent a bid out for this project, you couldn't tear the old ceiling down to get the bid. So when we tore the old ceiling down, the rafters were covered with fireproofing, which the fireproofing there was concrete. So our attachment point was steel beam, basically soaked in concrete. So we had to go through and basically chisel off concrete off of I-beams for like 4 or 5 days, not damaging the brand new wood flooring they put in, the new lockers they put in. It was a nightmare. Got done.
That's awful.
Yeah, we had to recess everything. You can kind of see the edge is curved. The edging on the right and left side of that is actually the lockers.
Joe, zoom into that little photo. Zoom into that little photo on the right. I want to see the rendering.
This one here?
Yeah.
Okay, give me just a second.
Yeah, that's basically all we had to work on.
Yeah, but that's fantastic, eh?
Yeah, and so we had to curve the sides of the whole structure to fit into like a kind of oval shape with square ends, which there was no measurements for it. We had to field and measure everything. We ended up making patterns and making basically a pattern and a tracing of the edge to build to.
And that looks like it was a recently renovated locker room. Is that what it was? They were doing a reno?
Yeah, they actually renovated the whole Coliseum there. It was a couple phase project. I don't remember how much they put into the whole project. It was multiple, like upwards of 10 to 20 million, somewhere in there. The whole Coliseum, changed seating. We ended up doing basically seat numbers, seat graphics. There's 40 to 42 hallway entrances. We wall wrapped the whole hallway entrance for both sides of them. Did seating wall wraps around the whole inner Coliseum, seating numbers for 100 sections, small directionals for everything, directionals for seating. It was a massive project. It took us.
And again,
good.
Sorry. I was going to say, again, that's the school you graduated from too, right?
I actually didn't graduate from there. I went there for 2 years. Didn't get to go back because I was from the sign companies. But my mom graduated from there. My wife did.
Still a connection. That's unreal. So you can go back on the campus and look at the work that you've done, and that's unreal. Love that.
Yeah, I'm a basketball fan, so this was a big one for me. I was like, we're gonna get this project no matter what. I wanted to be part of this. I've been a basketball fan, watched Mountaineers play since I was 7 years old, so this is great.
And this might be one of the first of these ceiling light accents, because it's really popular now. So a bunch of universities have started to do this. So you talked about the build of all this. What's the face material of the actual logo?
Of that one's actually a fully aluminum face.
It's not. Yeah, it's not. So it's not. The face isn't illuminated. Just illumination on the outsides.
Yes.
Halo.
Oh wow.
Halo lit. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Beautiful.
And it's very, very thin. That was one of the problems we had too, because it was such a thin area to do that in. So again, we had to adjust our LEDs to not have hot and dark spots. Now,
so basically, you had to have an ocean of LEDs, is what you had to do.
Yes.
I like that. I like that ocean.
Yeah. The other ceiling logo, which you might have a picture of, is actually lit from the front.
Let me scroll through. I'll see if I can find one real quick. While I do that, Matt, I believe I heard you say you came prepared with a trivia question today.
What? Are we going to do that right now, Joe? Are you going to bring that up? Chris, are you even ready for this?
I maybe am.
Well, this is something that Joe had wanted, so I took it upon myself. And during our little Rising Signs on Friday morning, we're going to start coming up with a trivia. So I guess I'm going to be the first one. There is a prize involved. What that prize is yet, I'm not going to tell you because either one of you might not win. But
is it Tim Hortons?
Do you guys have Tim Hortons down there?
We do. We have a bunch of Tim Hortons. We are the
maybe it will be a
snowbird route.
Well, there you go. Maybe it might be a Timmy's, and we'll get a shameless plug in there and get a sponsorship. Gift card.
Yeah.
We've got a Tim's now. So there's Tim Hortons. Now there's what's called a Tim's, right? And I don't know if you've seen this in Canada, but it's the first one. It's one that went up in Westerville, Virginia, and there's no inside seating. You can walk up and you can drive through, but you can't go in. And it's called a Tim. It's called a Tim's. I'm not. But
it is a Tim Hortons franchise.
It's part of the whole Tim Hortons thing, but it is a different business model. That there's no dining room or any of that. Just walk up and drive through.
It would be American of you guys to just take something that we love and just absolutely have to change it to make it your own, eh?
Yeah. Like
IHOP
Express.
You got to be responsible with your assets, Matt. And that's what I've been trying to get through to you. Is like, listen, when you don't know about your maple syrup reserves, you deserve to have Tim's taken from you and landed right 30 minutes from my house in Westerville, Ohio.
Boys, can we get back to this trivia question?
Sure. Go ahead.
So the trivia question is really easy. It's a one-question thing. We're not going to make this really difficult. I don't know if you guys have followed my social medias, but I kind of shared light on this before. It's a trivia question on neon. And I know Chris does a little bit of neon still in the shop. And I know Joe knows everything about facts. So can either one of you name me who was the patent owner of neons?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Or if we're going to go a little bit easier, what country was neons patented? And then I'll give you the history.
All right, take turns guessing.
First, Rising Signs facts of the day.
You're the guest, Chris. So you go first, my friend.
I'm going to take a stab at it and say Germany.
Oh, no way! I was going to say the same exact thing. I don't believe it.
Hey, the Germans are innovative.
Do I give it away? Yes or no?
I say so. My guess was going to be Germany, so I'm there with him.
You guys are both getting final answer? Call a friend. I'm giving you guys last chance right now.
I mean, I got Google right here, so I don't want to cheat.
No,
right?
Don't Google. That's cheating. It's an honor system. Well, then you're both incorrect. So the guy's name was actually Georges Claude. He was a Frenchman, and he actually patented neon in 1910. So, Joe, I want to take this a step further because this all went back to that whole thing that we were saying with Packard Company and the whole color red and the neon. So it actually was the first recorded use of neon was in 1921. It was just after World War I. And the first time that neon was actually used as a sign, it was actually imported from France to the US, and it was for LA and San Francisco, and it was for the Packard agency at the time. So 1922, the first neon sign went up.
So I have a counter trivia question.
Ooh, is there a prize? Otherwise, I'm not answering.
There's no prize, and honestly, I don't know the answer. I'm wondering if there's any connection between France and the Frenchman being the originator of neon and France Transformer.
That's an interesting point.
Ooh, I didn't even know that.
I don't know anything. I'm just, it could be a coincidence, right?
Yeah.
But there might be some history connected to the idea of, France is probably the most, popular Transformer in history, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe not so much anymore, but they were, Yeah. And it's, that was news to me. So when it was originally invented and patented by this guy, we won't say invented because he has the patent. So, he could have stole it, Good artist copy, great artist steal, right? So what was the initial intent when this was patented? Did you see anything on that when you were finding this trivia question?
Well, I know that there was something in this. Again, I have my computer out so we can actually scroll through this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah. Cold cathode lighting.
During.
Yeah, have you guys ever run across old cold cathode?
It's give us that. What's that all about?
So like an old cold cathode neon tubing, we can't do it anymore. But I mean, that neon for that was like huge pieces of neon. It wasn't neon, it was cold cathode, but that's a lot of repairs back in the day were that. They use it for a lot of lighting. I've seen old movie theaters with that in the ceiling lights. So,
wow, look at that.
Interesting. See, you pull up some facts and all of a sudden everyone's a
professor.
Hey, I love it.
Yeah, I like trivia too, Joe. So
we're all learning today, right? So
yeah, exactly.
France, that's pretty iconic, man. That's good stuff.
Point.
So you know what? Something we didn't touch on that maybe we should get a little bit more history on you, Chris. So you correct me if I'm wrong, but you have 4 kids now?
3 and 1 on the way.
Oh
God
my
bless you,
God!
Yeah, congratulations! How much longer are we looking?
End of August. We're having a girl. We actually have 3 boys, so 6, 4, and 2, and we're having our 4th is a girl.
Well, that's appropriate, eh? 3 big brothers. You have nothing to worry about.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
She's gonna get beat up a lot. I have a feeling they like to wrestle.
God was on your side. You got blessed.
Yes, for sure. Yes, I have a great wife and great kids.
Tell you what, man, having 3 boys myself, it's like I'm a WWF referee every single day.
Yes.
It is. I mean, it's unbelievable. But the cool thing about it is, I won't talk about the book I've been listening to, but there's this interesting dynamic about fragility, especially in our country now, of just raising children that are severely overprotected and they don't establish coping mechanisms and all that. Like, I know for certain that is not the case for my boys. Like, as one has continued to show up, like, I'm kind of rough and tumble myself. I like to have fun and throw them around and wrestle and and I'm not a helicopter parent. At least I wouldn't say so. Maybe somebody else can judge. But it's unbelievable how tough my 18-month-old is.
Yeah.
18-month-old. So I've got a 4-year-old and I've got a 7-year-old. These guys are going at it. I mean, these jokers are punching each other. They're throwing each other on the couch, elbows, right? And it's not like my 18-month-old. It's like he's like standing like this dude is like running head first into the fight.
Yeah.
Like he's not scared of it all. It's really cool to see how, setting an environment where, you can build that confidence. You can build,
rub some dirt on it.
Yeah. It's really, really cool. And, it'll be a different dynamic now that you have a girl. Like I kind of thought about, what it would be like to have a little girl, and I'm not going to, I think,
man, you forgot about it.
We're going to keep it simple with 3 boys. Right. But it's going to be really, she's going to be well taken care of, protected. So that's good stuff. 4 kids. My God, man. You're brave.
You guys are a unique bunch, man. You don't hear a lot of people, especially around our ages, that have a lot of kids. And I know with Joe, I remember when we had Matt Del Salvatore on, like these are big families. Like even Jack too. Jack had a large family for young guys.
Yeah. He's got a 3rd one on the way. Yeah.
Oh, maybe it is the going trend now.
Yeah.
So I really like it.
This is actually a downside for my wife. I talked to her.
Chris. 9.
Yeah, she wanted 9.
She's
one of 9 herself. She wanted 7.
Bless her
soul. And I talked her down from 7 to 4.
Oh, wow. So you're done.
Done. As soon as the baby is healthy, I will be taking care of that.
Listen. I'm going to tell you. You just got to do it, and you can't be lazy about it. My newborn was on this planet 2 weeks, and I got fixed.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time frame.
All I needed was 2 weeks of no sleep to say, I'm ready.
Yeah.
And as Michael Scott would say, snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap, snip.
Guys,
Matt's blushing. Matt's blushing.
I don't even have kids yet, so I don't even know what to tell you guys. Let's get back on track because I know we're not really pressed, but we're short for time. Chris, I know I spoke to you on the phone, and it was something I feel passionately about. I know Joe feels passionately about. There's a lot of young people out there that are career searching. There's a lot of young people that are lost for vision on what they want to do for a career. But yet there is a lot of us in the sign industry that are young. If you had to give advice to people out there that want a new career, are looking for a new career, or even had crossed their mind to join the sign industry, what kind of advice would you share the world of why join signs? Why signs?
Because it's always going to be there. If anything, whether alone you like this, you like graphics, you like building things, you like working with your hands, you like working with people, there will always be signs. That was one of my, my grandpa's things is, as long as there's businesses, there's going to be signs. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. They're going to change. They're going to be, someday it could be holographic images instead of real signs. So you got to be adaptable. But, you can see a difference from neon to, regular light bulbs to LEDs to digital displays. It's changing. So you got to be able to adapt. But you will always have a career if you can always take care of businesses. Mm-hmm. There's always going to be businesses. And so there's always going to be signs.
It's probably the largest business that is overlooked by most people.
Completely.
Until I got in the industry, like I never realized, like when you start learning about materials, it's like, oh my God, I recognize that, right? But the crazy thing is when any sort of decent size business, retail, hospitality, grocery stores, medical field, anytime there is a new VP that is hired, anytime there is a new consultant brought in, anytime somebody talks to a design firm, one of the things that always comes up is rebranding. Yeah. Every time somebody wants to make an improvement, they want to change, they want to grow their business, they want to do something better.
Yep.
It is in the top 5 every time. Yep. All right, we got to rebrand. Here's our new logo. We talk to a design firm, and instantly that turns into tens of thousands of signs across the country.
Yeah.
Every single time.
You can change procedures as much as you want, but people don't see procedures. People see signs.
Ooh, I like that. People don't see procedures. People see signs.
At Spectra, our motto is a sign is an identity. Identify with us, which also is very, very much brandish. You can have the world's biggest company. If you don't have a logo, if you don't have a brand on that storefront, no one knows what you do. So every business has to have an identity. So exactly. I love that.
Yep,
love that.
All right. Sure. I have a couple things I wanted to run through as we get close to closing. I think one of the last times I talked to you, Chris, you had a couple people that were a part of your hatchet throwing team that went to the world competition for ESPN, right? How did all that turn out?
Wow.
So I actually, about a year and a half ago, started another business. It's called Mountain Man Axe Throwing. It's an axe throwing venue. I've joined Waddle, which is the World Axe Throwing League, started by Bad Axe Throwing owner Mario, I forget his last name, Zelia. He's from Canada. Waddle's based in Canada. And
all right.
We joined that, and I have all my coaches for my facility. There you go. Yeah. A lot of my actually employees here at Work Sign Shop are actually coaches on the side for me at the axe throwing place. One of them is actually my manager, and it's really turned into a really great little business. Does well. I'm expanded it here, actually getting ready to open up tomorrow in our new location because the governor lifted our orders for stay at home. So opening back up tomorrow. I had 4 employees there get random drawn for the World Axe Throwing Championship last year.
Wow.
They got to go out to Arizona for a competition. Did pretty decent. The duels team, they actually got into the final, I think 12. And then the same 2 people that got the duels competition actually are Winter League this year. One of them is actually top 12 in the world now for the World Axe Throwing League. He got automatic bid to the World Championships on ESPN in December. And then his partner for his duels team, Andy is my manager. They got fourth in the world in duels league, and they got an automatic bid for the World Championship for that too.
Wow. So the prize money wasn't good enough that they quit working at the sign shop, was it?
No, they got to win to get the prize money. They get second place.
While we're on it, let's go ahead and take an opportunity for you to plug. Let's hear the name of the axe throwing business, and then of course share about how we get in contact with you at City Neon as well.
Mountain Man Axe Throwing is the axe throwing business. It's here in Morgantown, and City Neon. You can call me at our number 304-599-1852. Look us up online. You can email us as well. We have an email on the website. And that's pretty much it.
Love it.
Awesome,
yeah,
Chris.
You've been unreal. There you go. Everybody has the point, eh?
Yeah.
Check the banner below. Yeah, we're really good at doing that. We'll make sure everybody gets your information so they can contact you at any time. But
and we do wholesale too. For other sign companies. If you can't build it, we'll help you build it.
That's incredible, man. Yeah. So, Chris, I appreciate you taking the time to be on the show and share your story, share about your business and your family, of course, as well. We do more and more to try and connect more of the young people in the industry. So I'm sure this will be profitable for you just from the fact of being able to network and get more connected. Do you have any closing remarks or anything you'd like to say before we started parting ways here?
No, I really appreciate the opportunity. All the young people out there, this is a really good industry that people overlook. You can't go to school for it, so you got to jump into it. So I figure just jump on in and learn and work your way up.
Love it. Chris, you're inspiring. You're positive in nature. Loved having you on our show, episode number 8. You did a fantastic job. So again, thank you for taking that time out of your day. It's Friday morning. Go pour yourself another cup of coffee, grind away, and then work your way into the weekend, brother.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Enjoy your weekend, guys.
Thanks, Chris. Have a good one, bud.
Thanks, you too.
So we get blessed, eh? We get a lot of guests on our show. I've been from family businesses. We get a lot of guests that are well spoken. They got a lot of accolades under their belt, and they've worked really hard to find themselves in the position that they are today. And they've done that by diving into the industry and learning it firsthand experience. Like Chris was saying, the School of Hard Knocks, it seems like a lot of us sign influencers out there have gone to the School of Hard Knocks to find us in the position we are today. So once again,
the sign industry lives on. I think the one thing I'm feeling at this moment is encouraged. I think the thing I continue to stay concerned about is progression, right? And integration of new technologies and having the old technologies remembered and respected, and hearing stories like Chris's is an encouragement. His connection, not only with sign history, with his grandfather, bringing up cold cathode, right? These type of things are encouraging, and what I hope to accomplish in general, but also with what we're doing here is to show the attraction of what we do and what we're involved in, and get more people excited out, because it really is fun. And I think I'll leave a piece of advice today, because I'm feeling.
I love your advice.
I'm feeling reflective, right?
Give it to me.
I think my generation was very coached in the way that you find success in life. You get out of high school, you go to college, you get a 4-year degree, and that's the only way you're getting a job. That's the only way you're having a life. This is so. A lot of people without a second thought just go to college, and that determines their path in life. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But one of the reasons that somebody might not go into the sign industry is because they don't have someone telling them the right way to do it. They don't have this coach or this piece of paper that says they're qualified. And what I would say is, put yourself out there. The things that I know now, 13 years ago, I knew nothing about. And the one thing that I learned is there is a serious need for more people, young people, to get involved, to apply their experience in technology, but also to learn the old ways. I sell raw materials, right? But I'm a very technical guy. I wanted to know how to build it. So I can build a kit, right? I can light it up. The way that I integrate, the way that I do things is I try to solve problems, right? And that is the best thing you can do. We need more people that want to solve problems. So I would say, don't be afraid. Put yourself out there. Somebody like Matt, somebody like myself, somebody like Chris, they're excited to take somebody under their wing and help out if you want to get involved. So that's my encouragement for the day.
Signs are hip. They're cool. They're fun. They're creative. No, I'm not even joking. The list goes on. I mean, the amount of words that you could use to describe the sign industry, it's endless. And unless people know about that, unless we're bringing the people into the industry, they're not going to know that. So it kind of is on us and for the next generation to encourage those to opening the doors to this is what the sign industry has to offer, and it's pretty cool. So I love it. I think it's great advice, Joe.
It's fun. It's different. It's exciting. You can pave your own path. And I think the best testament is that I'm not going anywhere else. I'm going to be in the sign industry for the rest of my life because I do like it. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Love it.
This has been episode 8 of Rising Signs. Thank you for joining us this morning. And as always, I'm Joe. This guy next to me is Matthew. You guys have a great day.
This is Rising Signs. Roll that music. Let's go, baby.